Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing, I'm going to pronounce this as Föggenhausen. And with a name like that, you can probably surmise a few things. First, it feels like it's probably some kind of German town. I imagine, well, German, it could also be Swiss, could be Austrian, somewhere in the Tyrol area, like a fantastic part of the world. And it just, because it's Christmas, it is snow-capped at the moment and covered in snow and, of course, fog, as is referenced here in the title. The second thing you probably surmised is this is another puzzle from Meggen's town, village, city series, where it's all about fog, and which is an excellent way to start a Monday. That's probably enough of it. One thing that's different from the last scene, somehow Sleuth has lost his earring as he went across. I don't know why. But let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with Föggenhausen by Meggen033 and the following set of rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Then we have magenta renbans. They form a set of consecutive non-repeating digits in any order. So imagine that this cell is a 2. This would have to be, let's say, 1 and 3, for example, or it could also be 3 and 4, both of which would be valid as long as it's a consecutive set of digits. What I couldn't do, for example, is have 3 and 5. That's no longer a consecutive set. So that's one possibility. Then we have adjacent digits along a green German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. So if you imagine that this cell here is a 3, let me do that. This would have to be 8 or 9 to be 5 or more away. We only have really like a 2-cell German whisper line. Just remember that it oscillates back and forth between high digits 6, 7, 8, 9, low digits 1, 2, 3, 4. And if there was another cell here in the German whisper line, it would be a high digit again to be 5 or more away from the 3. Moving on, we've got a black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2 to 1 ratio. And a white dot between cells indicates cell values that are consecutive. Not all dots are given, so negative constraints do not apply. Meaning, this 2 here, which is on a black Kropke dot, this would have to be 1 or 4 for one cell to essentially be double the other. Equally, no negative constraints apply. So the 3 here next to the 2, clearly consecutive without a white dot, not a problem. A 4 here next to the 2, without a black dot, negative constraints don't apply. We do have a white dot here, so if that's a 9, this would have to be an 8 for it to be consecutive with the 9. Last but not least, fairly obvious statement, the grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placing digits will clear the fog around that cell. So if any of these digits were correctly placed, let's say that 2, all of the fog cells directly connecting to it, including the diagonal cells, those would be revealed and hopefully gives us more clues for us to proceed. No guessing is required. That's all the rules we have for today. So as always, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So a run of 3 black Kropke dots have to be 2, 4. Actually, here's something. Right, I'm going to just color this first, then we'll come back to the black Kropke dots. Right, so polarity switch, which across German, consecutive cells on a German whisper line. So I don't know if this is high or low, but I'm going to call this orange. I'm going to call this one purple. Now, purple, let's say, it doesn't matter if it's low or high. What's amazing on this renban is I cannot place a 5 on any of it. Can't place a 5 on a black Kropke dot, otherwise this cell would be 10 or 2.5, neither of which is allowed. And you can't place 5 on a German whisper line, otherwise this would be 0 or 10 to be 5 or more away. So the conclusion is for this to be a renban, as in a consecutive set of digits, and I'm not crossing across the 5, all of these have to be purple. Same is true for the other side, all of these have to be orange. And we probably have our break-in. Yeah, we do. Black Kropke dots now. So black Kropke dot digits are 1, 2, 4, and 8, or 3 and 6. So essentially powers of 2, 3 and 6, and as I covered earlier, 5 isn't allowed, neither is 7 or 9 for the exact same reasons. When you have a run of 3 digits, obviously they're never the 5, 7, 9. These are only 2 digits. You need 3 digits. And notice the polarities of these are different. So one of them is high, which would have to be the 8, and one of them is low, which would have to be the 2 with the 4 in the middle. Obviously, I don't know which is which, so this will have to suffice. Right. Whichever side is the 2, these will be 1, 3. I mean, specifically, actually, because there's a white crop dot. That couldn't be the 1 because consecutive would be 2, which wouldn't be allowed. So this would have to be the 3. This would have to be the 1. And because the 8 is not available, we've used it. From the neighbors that can be next to a 3 on a German whisper line, this would have to be the 9. And then this would have to be, well, 9, 8. This would have to be 7. And then the 8 is not available. This would have to be 6. 2, 3. The 2 is not available. This would have to be 4. And the way I'm thinking about this is, so the 7s and 3s are allowed, but the 9s and 1s are not because the 2 and 3 restrict them. 2 and 8, excuse me. So we have to obviously try the other way around where orange is high. And then 9 won't be allowed, yes, of course, because of the 8. So yeah, that's correct. So it'll be essentially a 3-7 pair and a 1-9 pair. Then we're left with a 5-6 pair. And I imagine the break-in is in here with this white crocodile. And this is, I'm guessing, 4-6 as well. Let's think about this 5-6. Because this is quite different than here. Everything is rotationally symmetrical except for this white crocodile. So what is it meant to tell us? Let's try a scenario where this is low. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 9, 8, 7, 6. So the 5 couldn't be here because the 4 is there, the 6 is there. Remember, these two are different, and they're always different. Whether this is 8, 7, 6, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, this is a 4-6 pair, and they're different 4-6 pair. You can just color them, and you can see that these two cells both see this one, which means that cannot be a 5. Otherwise, what on earth is that cell going to be when 4 and 6 are not allowed? So that has to be the 6. This has to be the 5. We have our break-in. The 6 in here would lead to a 5 or 7, which is not actually enough to resolve this polarity conundrum. Of course it is. 6 is looking at the 4-6. Come on, sleuth. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then 9, 8, 7, and 6. Fantastic. We have our break-in. I don't know if I'm going to need to color these, but, you know, I've earned it. I'm going to enjoy it. 6s cannot be on this renban. So I'm fairly sure this can't be a 7 because 7, 8, 9, I need a fourth digit, which can only be the 6. And, neither, you know, it's not allowed anywhere on this renban with these two 6s. So that has to be a 5. And because 6 is not allowed, the remaining 3 digits are 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, not a 4. If that's 2, that can't be 4, so that would be 1. If that's 3, that would be 6. And if that's 4, well, that can't be 4 because 2 and 8 are not allowed. So that's not 4. We need a 4 on this renban to make sure that these are consecutive. That's the only place for a 4. If this is 6, that would have to be 1. If this is 1, I'm not going to pencil mark this. Moving on. The 4 is actually quite interesting because you see, essentially I end up with a 1, 2, 3, 6 quadruple. So 4 and 8 are not available with this 4 in column 3. And 2 and 4 are not available. So essentially down here, I also have another 1, 2, 3, 6. So this cell is not from 1, 2, 3, 6, in fact, anywhere else in that column. What about this renban? So 8, 7, 6, 5, I can tell that 9 is clearly not on here because the 8 is not available. Neither is the 4. So this is actually a relatively low digit. This is 1, 2, or 3. And because the 4 is not available in the box, this is another 1, 2, 3. There is a definite 2 amongst these two cells. If it's 1, that would be 4. Not sure how useful this is. Actually, here is something very useful. Here is something very useful. If this is 6, that's 1. But on the other side, that's the more interesting bit, on box 6, here are 2 German whisper lines. You can see one is heading off into the fog. you always need a low digit and a high digit. And the low digit in this case is not the 1, because either this is 1 or it's a 6, in which case this is a 1. So there's always a 1 between these two cells, meaning there's always a 3 between these two cells. The neighbor can't be an 8, so these two cells have to be 3, 9. And if it's 3, well, if it's 9, it has to be 8. If it's 3, it could be 2 or 4, I don't know. No, it's not 4. I did say if this is 1, I need a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is the only place for a 4, but it actually doesn't matter. I need 4 digits. I cannot contain them all under the digit 4. And 4 is none of these 3 cells. That's the only place for a 4, and therefore this has to be a 2. So 2, 8, 3 9s. This is clearly deliberate. You see, unlike the 4 in column 3, I can get away with 4, 8. So I don't know if it's a red herring right now. We need to use it a bit later. In here, we've got another 2 German whisper lines, cells, and it must have the other 2, 3, because 1 and 4 are not available, with a 7 or 8. And then 5 and 6 are both down here, with a 7 or 8. Because the 2 3s are used up. Can this actually get to? So the maximum I can get to is 3, 4, 5, 6. I cannot get to 7 or 8, so this is definitely 5 or 6, which I think removes a 1. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't get me to 5 or 6. 2, 3, 4, 5 will get me to 5 though. Right. This cannot be 1. I think we've established. This cannot be 4. Can it be 2? 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5? I think it can be. Essentially, it looks like it's all of these options. By removing the 9, if this is 1, this would be 6, 7, or 9, or it's a 1. It's 2, actually, sorry, not 9, 6 or 7. It'd be nice to be able to eliminate the 3, 6 option and start to force some of this, but I'm really not sure how I can do that. Actually, I'm not too sure how to move forward from here. What is going on? So the loose digits in row 5, there's a 5 and there's a 6 or 7. So these are 5, 6, 7. No 1s. 1 is in one of 2 cells. In fact, 4 is in here. In fact, 9 and 4 are in there. That's useful. So this is a 4, 9 pair. There is a second 2, 3, and it cannot be a 3 somewhere in here. So this has to be the 3, this has to be the 2. This is not a 2, this is a 3, can't be coupled with a 7, so this is 3, 8 pair, and this is 5, 6, 7. We've already established that's not a 7. That 3 makes this a 6, makes this a 1. These are now a 5, 7 pair, and this is a 1, 2 pair. Also gives us 2s lining up in row 7 and 8, meaning this cannot have a 2, the 2 is down there. So this is 3, 6 or 4, 8. 4, 8 would be this way, and 3, 6 seemingly seems to be anyway. Oh, that can't be a 2 anymore. 3, 6 would make this 5. Yeah, so this is getting very tricky. This would have to be the 3, so I couldn't make this the 6, long story short. If that's 6 and that's 3, that would be 5, and then I've broken this cell. Okay, so I can't make this 6, I can't make this 3. Can I make this 3? That would be 2, and then where is the 3 on this renban? I can't make this 3 either. So that has to be 8, 4. come on, it feels like it's about to crack, but it's like fighting every step of the way, really. You can see there's an 8 down here. These cells... Oh, no 5. Come on, Sleuth. That's the 5. That's the 7. This is 2, 7, and 8. 2, not 3. This... Right, so if this is a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3. Can't be 1, and it can't be 3 between this renban. So no 2 because of the 1-2 pair. That's a 2. That's a German whisper line that has a low digit that is not 1, 2, or 4. It has to have a 3 with 8 or 9. I mean, that's clearly not an 8. We did say this. There's a 3 in here. Come on, Sleuth. That's 9. That's 3. That's 8 on the rest of the German whisper line. That's not the 8. That's the 8. And we're left with 179 in here. That can't be 7. So this is 19, and this is 179 with a definite 7. There's no 4 here. That's the 4, just Sudoku. Sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place. But just as I spot them, I'm just using them immediately. Right, 8 can't be 9, but it could be 7. 7 can't be 8, but could be 6. I still need a 5, which can't be in here. That's a 5. That gives me, to complete the box, another 6, 7. That's a 6, 7 pair. That can't be 7. That is 8. That is 7. That is 7. That is 6. That is not 6. That is not 5. No resolution. That is not a 3. We're getting somewhere. So we can't have a 2, but it feels like this is 1, 3, or 9. It just feels like it's too many options. I should be able to eliminate one of them. I just can't quite see it. Let's move on. 1, 6 in here. 2, 5, 8 in here. That is not an 8, so... Oh no, never mind. 5 can't be there because this can't be 4 or 6. So that is the only place for a 5. Very clearly another deliberate black crop dot. If it's 2, 1 and 3 are allowed, and if it's 8, 7 is not allowed, but 9 is. Black crop dot does not include 4, 8. Could include 6, 3. And sadly can include 2, 1. We end up with like a virtual 1, 6 pair between these. It's not quite enough to resolve some of this though. Tricky puzzle today. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5, 6, 7 in here. 5 and 6. Less tricky. And 1, 2, 3 in here. And 8 and 9 in there. That can't be a 2. That gives me a 1, 3 pair. That gives me a 9. That gives me an 8. That gives me a 2. That gives me 3, 9. It doesn't actually help me with this setup. Does it not? I mean, it gives me a digit. What is that digit? 8. Yes, 8. No, 8. Yeah, 8. Okay. And this is not a 3 anymore. And we said there has to be a 3. So that's the 3. That's the 2. That is not a 3. That's a 1, 9 pair. 5, 6. That would have to be 1 or 2. And we said there is no 2 here. So that would have to be the 1. That is the 2. That is the 1, of course, because I placed that 2 if I paid attention. And we have a 5, 7, and 9. That's the 9. That's the 5 because it can't be 7. And that's the 7, which gives me 6, 5, and 6 in here. These are now known digits. 2, 3, 7. Not 2 or 3. That's 7. So we now have a 2. Oh, never mind. That's just 7. That's Sudoku. I was going to say we have a virtual 1-6 pair and we have a virtual 2-3 pair. So we have a quadruple in essence. But I was just overcomplicating. That's not a 7. That is the 7. That's German Whisper. That's another German Whisper. What do I have in here? I need 149. Was a definite 4. That cannot be the 4 because that can only be an 8. So that's the 4. If it's 9, that would be 3 and that would be 8. If it's 1, that would be 8 and that would be 3. Not the way to resolve this, apparently. What is the way to resolve this? Sudoku, maybe? 1, which can't be in the 1-9 pair. That's the 1. In fact, that's not a 1. This is a known digit, the 5, I'm going to say. 6, 5. Still not helping me. Goodness me. Actually, no, 1-9 pair gave me 8 and 9. 8 in here has resolved this. 3, 8, 9, 1. Not a 1 either. That's the 1. That's the 3. That's the 6. There we go. We're done. Famous last words, but, you know, we are done. We need 4 and 2 for the finish. Beautiful puzzle. Meggen033, another fantastic fog puzzle. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. Felt tricky at times on a Monday. I think the reason I kind of had a quick solve is I sort of abandoned trying to squeeze some logic out and just looked for the easier things around. Hopefully you guys have done the same as well. Right, that's it for today. See you back for the next video. Bye-bye for now.